So Black home ownership is very, very important to me. And with June being Black Home Ownership Month, I wanted to make sure that I took some time to tell you more about my story about home ownership, my family's background in home ownership, and why it matters to me so much, but also highlight some of the things that I've gained from being a homeowner that I want you to gain as well, So I'm going to tell a little backstory of my journey, and then I'm going to leave you with 3 things that I've gained since becoming a homeowner. So if you didn't know, my name is Jocelyn. I am the founder of Maximize Money, but before I became Maximize Money, I was real estate prep, and my goal was to help first-time home buyers and millennials in particular become confident and knowledgeable about the home buying process, because this is the biggest purchase most of us will ever make in our lives. And so I spent a lot of time talking with lenders, financial planners, inspectors, agents, and I brought them onto that podcast to basically share their knowledge, and then I mirrored it with what my experiences have been as well. But then I realized that there was a bigger need beyond just real estate, that overall personal finance and wealth building was something that I was really good at and really passionate about. But real estate is really the backbone of why I started this channel and why I started this online brand, this community. And I love it here. But one of the things that really sparked me and continues to push me is the statistics. So 41% of Black Americans own homes compared to 71% of white Americans. And that is a very drastic difference. But we also recognize why this is the case. Number one, we don't get paid what they get paid. Number two, we have systemic, practices that were built against us from the very beginning. So despite us building this country, we have redlining, which means that you can only buy in certain areas. There was predatory lending, meaning that they had discriminatory practices against Black people. They would give them loans that they couldn't afford. There's even modern day appraisals. If you've watched the news, a lot of Black Americans have had to have their white friends kind of stand in to get their house appraised because it would appraise for more. Like, things are always against us, because we understand that land is power, and if it was easier, more of us would have it. But there's so many things that stop us from getting it. For me, it was student loans. For me, it was my debt. For me, it was just me not being knowledgeable. Like, it just was so much that went into it. And I just was like, you know what? Black home ownership needs to be normalized. And I started my company, I guess it is a company. It's a business. I wanted to be a part of the bigger goal that many other people have. I'm not the only one that talks about homeownership and personal finance, but I wanted to make it normal to be a homeowner, a Black homeowner, despite all the other things that come against you, despite how overwhelming the process is. I wanted to be a part of it being possible for you, and so I don't know if I've discussed this a lot, but the home that I'm in now, I would not have been in if it was not for my grandparents. So my grandparents moved from Louisiana to California, bought a home, and that home had been in our family for, it gotta be over 50 years, because my mom and all of my aunts and my uncles were raised there. I was also raised there. A few of my cousins were raised there for a little minute until our parents actually bought homes and stuff. And when they sold that home, my mom gave me a portion of the money, and I used a portion of that money to pay off my student loans. Paying off the student loans improved my debt to income ratio, which then allowed me to move into a home, this home. So when I bought the home, it was new construction. And I think why I feel so peaceful and protective in this space is because I allowed them to bless it, not in the physical because they're no longer here, but I wrote a bunch of prayers, a bunch of letters to them on the brick, before, all the drywall and stuff was up. And I thank them for their sacrifices And I thank my mom because she didn't have to give me that money. Like, she could have just kept it because it wasn't for me. It was for the kids. They were the ones that, the kids meaning like my mom and, my aunts and uncles, like they split it evenly, but they all gave their kids a portion of the money. And I was like, you know what? That's generational wealth. Like, that's what I want to do. Granted, I ain't have no kids, but that's what I want to do for my godson, for the babies in my family. Like, I want my home to help them accomplish whatever it is that they want to do. I want my home to help them buy their future home, and that's what real generational wealth is. It's not just impacting the next generation right after you. Their moves helped us, like the third generation, so homeownership is powerful. And if it wasn't, they wouldn't be fighting us so much to stop us from having it. The rates would be much higher than they are right now. So that's number one. Let's just jump into the things that I've learned. So as I said, my grandparents' home helped me to buy mine. And I now know that I can use my equity in my home to help someone else do the same. So I already have accounts and stuff set up for my godson. So when he's 18, he's gonna be set. Like, we all contribute to it. But I also made sure to make him a part of this, like if it gets to that point and I'm still owning this home, which I hope I do because I love it here. Like, I want to use my home to help someone else because that's what someone did for me. So this money is yours. As your home appreciates in value, you now have the resource to do something with it. You can do something that you want to do, take it out and go on vacation, or I don't recommend that. Take it out, buy another house, rehab the house, pay your kids tuition. Like, that's the beauty of homeownership, is being able to help someone else. And that's what I want to do with my home. I don't have a bigger calling right now, but I know that when the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to look forward to being able to pay it forward. Number two is that I have appreciation in my home. So my home is now worth more than what I bought it for. It was worth more than what I closed on it for as well. So when I got it under contract, it was under 300. Now it's over, but by the time I closed, it was touching 300, and now it's worth well over 300. So that means that my home has appreciated, and it's going to continue to appreciate. And like I said, with that money, because people don't understand, it's like, okay, what does that mean for you? What does equity mean for you? Equity means I don't want to say it's free money because it is attached to the house, but you can pull that out and refinance to do what you need to do. So if you have heard about people taking their money out, to pay for their college tuition, their kids' tuition, or they're pulling money out of their house for a big surgery, or they're pulling money out of their house to buy a new house. Like, the money is yours to do what you want to do with it. Now, when you do that, it's basically a loan, because you're borrowing against your house, but it's your money. It's your money, and you wouldn't have this money if you didn't have the home. So that is point two, is if you buy smart, which I always encourage you to do. Short plug for real estate. Ready to Own, which is my 100-page workbook for first-time home buyers. I teach you how to buy smart and strategically. We talk about renting versus owning. We talk about understanding the cost of home ownership. We talk about finding your dream home and creating your criteria. We talk about working with agents. We talk about what the process is like of submitting an offer, closing on your home, moving in, terms to know, different checklists. Like, it's thorough. I'm thorough. So, like, please grab this. If you feel overwhelmed about the home buying process, this is going to make you so confident. It's physical. It's meant to take with you as you are shopping for homes, talking with lenders, agents. Even after you close, there's tons of things to help you from A to Z through this home process. So this is linked in the description. Please get your copy. But yeah, when it's time for me to take the equity out of this home and do something with it, that's going to be money that I wouldn't have had if I didn't buy my home. So that's the power of it. Versus renting, you don't get anything when you rent. You're paying someone else. They're gaining more equity and appreciation on a home that they're renting to you. And that just didn't sit well with my spirit after a while. And I was like, I am missing out. I'm ready to buy a house. And thankfully it all worked out. And that's what I want for other people as well. Again, this is a generational thing. Real estate can be passed down. real estate can be passed down. Please look at the millionaires. All of them have some form of real estate in their portfolios. I want you to do the same. Third is the cash flow. So it's difficult to talk about this with a primary home. If you watch my other video about losing the duplex deal, you'll be able to understand what I mean. And I'll link that somewhere on the screen, as well as the description. But cash flow is basically the money that's left after the mortgage is paid, all the other associated bills. If you have a property manager, your capital expenditures, which means that it's basically like your savings. After all of that is calculated and covered, whatever is left is your cash flow. So like net, super net, And I was very adamant about making sure that I was going to be able to make some money on my home, even if it is a primary home. And so I'm renting to two traveling nurses. So people are always in and out of here. If it's not my family, it's traveling nurses. So like my house is a business, baby. So I set a criteria of how much I wanted to rent it out for. And I was able to do some market research to prove that what I wanted was being an average request for the area that I was living in and what I was offering. So that was important to me, which means location and proximity to hospitals were important to me. And again, the book, get the book, baby. You make money when you buy, not just when you sell. And then also, this would have been my first this would have been my first rental. I had the place leased out, baby. I had people. We had the lockbox on the door, like we were making moves. I was going to be moving and renting out this place. Again, watch the duplex video for the details on that. But I was very concerned about what I could make. And when it was time for me to rent out my place, I would have been able to rent it out for $500 more than what my mortgage payment is. You know what that is? Cash flow. Now, I wouldn't have seen that full $500. I would have had to put it into other areas, but I would have had a cash flow of around $250. So that's still pretty good. That's $250 for something I ain't got to work for. You feel me? So that's what I mean by cash flow. And again, it's making the money when you buy, not just when you sell. Like that's my motto when it comes to real estate. Because I used to be the person to be like, okay, but when I sell, I'm going to do boom, boom, boom. And I'm thankful to have mentors that are like, no, if you're not making money before you even move into this place, this isn't a good investment. So the cash flow that comes with owning real estate, owning a home, and if you buy strategically, your primary home can make you money. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. The cash flow is important. And then lastly is I will be making money when I sell. Like not only do you make money when you buy, but I'll be making money when I sell because the home has appreciated in value. Meaning that if I bought it for $300,000 and I sell it 10 years later for $500,000, that's a difference of $200K, And if I would have never bought this house, I would have never gotten those profits. Now, granted, you gotta, there's sale associated costs. You have to put the money somewhere else as well. You get taxed, all of that other stuff. But at the end of the day, it's more money. And that's why real estate is so powerful. That's why homeownership is so powerful. And it's so difficult for us to get it. But I wanted to make it simple for you all to understand the why behind why I write these videos, why I create these videos, why I've created this book, why I've created this brand. Like, I'm so passionate about creating more homeowners, more Black real estate investors. Like, even if it's not your primary home, but you buy something you don't understand. I haven't even touched on the tax advantages of homeownership in real estate. Like, I get to write off my property taxes. I write off my mortgage interest. Like, I write off my home office because I'm running a business here. Like, there are so many tax advantages. And again, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. And the more money you do make, the more you have to put that money somewhere. And why not put it into something that's never going away? Forget all the other crypto and all that other stuff. That's fleeting. Real estate ain't going nowhere. The stock market ain't going nowhere. That's where the majority of my money is because it's something that has been proven to continue to work. So that is the video. please grab Ready to Own. It's a great resource. I'm very thorough, as you can tell. And let me know what questions you have about home ownership, or what videos and topics you'd like me to cover in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.